good, YouTube? I guess this is a little different type of video I wanted to do. It's another story video. The reason why I'm doing this is because I recently saw Geeker Days' tag. It was like on arcade tag or whatever. And he just answered questions about like what was his favorite arcade, what was his favorite arcade game, if he had any stories of arcades. Basically, I didn't feel like doing the tag. I didn't feel like answering questions, but I do have some funny stories of when I was a kid, growing up and going to arcades. Yeah, man, like, in 1 week, I'm turning 25 years old, so, you know, I'm young, right, but I'm not like a teenager anymore, you know, I'm not 15, I'm not 13, so I pretty much grew up in the time where arcades were really big. Now, I was a little kid back in the early 90s, you know, all the way, and I was a teenager in the late 90s, so, like, that was around, you know, arcades they're still alive. I wasn't a teenager in the 80s or in the early 90s, you know, so I'm not in my 30s, I can't be, like, I don't have any, like, really, really awesome stories, but, I mean, as a kid, I had some, I grew up in arcades, man. I went to arcades all the time, dog, like, all the time, man. Like, I loved arcades, but, before I tell you the stories, I'll basically tell you what my favorite arcade game was back in the day, man. Me and my friend would always talk about this game, and I still want to own it. You know, I got my Street Fighter one. Of course, I gotta have a Street Fighter. Street Fighter is a must. My favorite video game ever. But my favorite arcade game definitely would have to be X-Men. The 6-player X-Men arcade game, dude. Hands down, dog. Hands down. One of the best arcade games ever. Beat 'em up, awesome graphics, Marvel Comics, sweet characters, fun, everything. But I have 2 stories. Just 2 in particular. I mean, I got a lot of stories, but just two that stood out to me that I just like to share with you guys. I'll tell you the first one. The first one isn't so great. It's just a little story. So I'll save the last one, the best one for last. So, alright, the first story. I was about, I'd say, 9 years old, right? And this mall back in the day, called Rio Mall, where I lived, had a huge arcade. It was called Rio Sportland. I'm talking about, this thing was an arena, man. It was a huge arcade. So I'd say back in, this was definitely around 1994, and Mortal Kombat 2 had just released. Now, you know, I'm 9 years old, and so me and my friend went. His mom took us two and like some other friends from our class to go to Sportland. And, you know, Mortal Kombat 2 was a big thing. It was huge, man. Now, there at Rio Sportland, when they first got Mortal Kombat 2, they put it on this huge, big screen. I'm talking about, it was huge, man. It was a big, flat screen, and, like, the control where the joysticks were at was, like, separate from the screen. So, you know, it wasn't like this. Like, it wasn't together like that. It was huge, man. And basically, since, you know, I'm a little kid, since it's such a huge screen, the characters were like this big. I'm not joking, dude. The characters looked this big. And the thing about Mortal Kombat is it looked real. Real characters. It freaked me out, right? So I'm playing it with my friend, and the thing about it is, you know, it's like in Sportland, Mortal Kombat 2 was, you know, it was like the main event. You know, it was the one that they treated the best. So me and my friend finally go and we start playing it. And the thing about it was like surround sound, right? It felt like you were really inside fucking, I don't know, the outer world fighting Scorpion, dude. It sounded so scary, like, you know how Shao Kahn always laughs? He's like, and you know how everybody in Mortal Kombat screams, or it just sounded real, like you were really in the fucking game, dude. So me and my friend are playing and stuff, and I was Shang Tsung and he was Reptile. So, you know, I was playing him, and, you know, as I'm playing it, right, and all the loud noise and all the Mortal Kombat voices and watching the characters fight, I started getting freaked out, dude. I was really getting scared playing that genre. And, you know, I'm not trying to show my friend I'm getting scared, right? But the thing is, I'm beating him. Like, I beat him in the first round, and the second round I was literally punishing him, man. And in the second round I let him win, right? Or whatever. So the third round we started playing, and I was beating him. All I had to do was just hit him one more time, dude. One more time. But since I was so scared of that fucking game, dog, you don't understand. I still remember Shang Tsung's face. He had the white eyes. This was when Shang Tsung was young. She had the white eyes, like staring at me, dude. Oh my gosh, dog. I was so freaked out in Mortal Kombat 2 at that point that I let my friend beat me just so I could walk away from the game, dude. It was that scary, man. Mortal Kombat 2 was fucking scary as shit. Oh my gosh, dude, I was such a bitch. I was such a bitch, dude. No joke, dude. I let my friend beat me. You know, I let him take that glory. I never told him that I let him beat me, man. You know, he rubbed it in my face that he beat me. I didn't care, dog. Cause I didn't, honestly, the reason why I let him beat me, cause if I didn't let my friend beat me, he would have left and gone played another game, and he would have left me alone playing that scary ass game. Not having it, dude. No way. No fucking way. I had to get away from that game, dude. Mortal Kombat 2 on a huge 1994 big screen with Dolby surround sound. That would give you nightmares, man. That game was scary, man. Dog, damn, that shit freaked me out, man. Oh, man. But that was the first story, man. I know that wasn't that great, but that shit scared me, man. Mortal Kombat, dude. But yeah, that was the first story. The second story is pretty funny, man. So, growing up, I had this friend that my mom used to babysit, and he was older than me. He was 4 years older than me, but we were still really, really tight friends. So one day I slept over his house, and the next day his parents decided to go to this mall that was kind of out there, like 40 minutes away. So, you know, this is a mall that we typically would never go to. So it was kind of like an event that, you know, you go to this mall. So I was I think this was around 1993 or 1994, so I was around 8 or 9. My friend was like 12 or 13 or whatever. And so, you know, his parents decided, you know, they let us go our way, you know, so they went their way. So me and my friend would walk around the mall. We went to different spots or whatever. And in the mall they had an arcade. You know, it was a decent sized arcade. And one game that they had there in particular was Virtua Fighter. And Virtua Fighter had just come out, dude. It was the first 3D fighter. It had just come out, you know what I'm saying? It was a big thing, right? So me being 8 or 9 years old, right, my friend was like, hey man, you want to play that joint? So I was like, alright. And the thing is, there was this guy already playing it. He was like, I'd say he was in his 20s, maybe like mid-20s. He was a black dude. He was cool, you know. So 90s, dude. He had the plaid shirt, he had a beard, he had the hat, and he was with his girlfriend. So he was already playing it. So I decided, you know, I'll play against him, right? So, you know, put in the quarter, I start playing against this guy. So I picked Cage, the ninja, and oh my gosh, I whooped his ass, dude. I literally beat the shit out of some guy that was half my age, dude. This dude was double my age, you know what I'm saying? And I whooped his ass, right? And you know, he took it well. Like, he wasn't mad or anything. He was like, oh, alright, man, I see you, man. You good, man. You good. You know, you a little good guy, whatever, right? So he left with his girl. He left. And then I played it like a couple more times. And then me and my friend, we left. And we walked around the other side of the mall, you know. And then, like, it was almost time for us to leave. So we were like, hey, man, let's hit up the arcade one more time before we leave. So I'm like, alright. So we go back to the arcade, right? And, like, as we go in, you know, we have to go around some arcades, and we're going to go back to Virtua Fighter. So we bust the corner, right? And me being little, every time I remember this in my head, I always imagine it as me being short, because, you know, I was a short 8-year-old, so, you know, the view was kind of like me looking up, right? I swear, we busted the corner to see Virtua Fighter, and the same guy that I whooped his ass in Virtua Fighter was playing that giant again. So, he was playing Virtua Fighter, right? And me and my boy, we hit the corner. And as he's playing it, he looks at me, right, hit the corner, and as soon as I hit the corner, dog, he was like, oh, hell nah, dog, hell nah, I'm not playing you, dude. I'm getting the fuck out of here, dog. He left his game on, and he just walked away, dude, because he didn't want to play me, dog. Dog, it was that serious, man. His eyes was like wide open. He saw me, he was like, oh, nah, dog, nah, I'm not even going to mess with you, man. Nah, man, I'm not playing you, dog. I'm leaving, I'm dipping. And he left. I'm I'm a little 8-year-old just looking at him like, alright, cool. And I played this game, dude. That guy literally got an ass whooping by an 8-year-old, man. Damn. Dog, I still remember that shit. I talked to my friend about it. He still remembers it, man. It was hilarious, dude. It was so funny. Arcades, man. Arcades were sick back in the day. Like Street Fighter, man. Like, I know a lot of people that first played Street Fighter 2, like, on the Super Nintendo. But I first played Street Fighter at the arcade back in, like, 1991, dude. I was, like, 6 or 7 years old. And my friend, I had just moved into a new house, and I met this kid. He lived across the street. And so I became friends with him, and his family would go to this place called Shakey's Pizza. I don't know if that's just, like, a place around here in the East Coast. Like, they don't have them anymore. Like, I don't know, they went out of business, but there's an arcade there, and he was like, yeah, man, there's a game called Street Fighter. I was like, you know, the little kid, like, alright, cool. And it was this exact Street Fighter, dude. Exact one, man. Well, actually, I don't think it was Turbo, though. It was just Street Fighter 2. And so, you know, me liking colorful characters, I played Blanka. So Blanka was the very first character I ever picked, and we fought in Brazil, and he was Zangief. First time I ever played Street Fighter. I still remember that, dude. Fucking like 20 years ago, dude. Still remember playing Street Fighter. Love it, dude. Arcades, man. I work at Dave & Buster's, so I work in an arcade. I'm a game tech. So, I mean, I'm around arcade games every day, all day. So I play them every day, dude. So I'm no stranger to arcades. But growing up, man, growing up in the 90s, dude, love it, dude. And the thing is, I grew up with people a lot older my age. Like, my sister's 8 years older than me. All the people I hung out with, like my cousins, like my friends, they were all older than me. So I grew up with all the stuff from the 80s. You know what I'm saying? That's why I know so much retro shit. And I grew up with the 90s stuff. So, like, usually people my age wouldn't really know as much stuff as I know, I guess, from the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know anybody my age that had a TurboGrafx 16. Like, I knew it because my friend who was older than me had one, you know? And I grew up with older people, so, I mean, all that retro shit, dude, I know all about that stuff, dude. Arcades, movies, video games, Jordans, everything. But that's pretty much the story that I wanted to give you guys. I know it's just a random video, just me talking about stories of arcades, but I wanted to just, I don't know, share that with you. I mean, I don't know if it was funny, I don't know if it was cool, but let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching, and peace out.